Here's what the bill did, okay? It's a slogan.
We have an article here from the Seattle Times, your local paper. U.S. Reps Pramila Jayapal and Adam Smith aim to abolish ICE, restructure immigration enforcement.
Exactly.
You were one of the Democrats, actually, who was in office when you voted for DHS.
Can I tell you what this actually does?
Creation of
have another House Un-American Activities Committee, and this time instead of Moscow, the question will be Havana.
Have you recently changed your mind?
Because this is what they're trying to redo. Okay, this is what they are trying to redo. I guess another Rutgers graduate might be in the fucking crosshairs of the State Department once again. Another Rutgers graduate with anti-imperialist ideals is in the crosshairs of the State Department. No, of course, the main try to be half as base. I will never. I am not fit to be. I am not fit to be the fucking. I don't have enough revolutionary in my entire body that Paul Robeson had in his pinky finger. Okay. My point is, the situation has deteriorated in America. The conditions are worse. Even the senators, even the politicians that are sitting on the House Un-American Activities Committee are far more literate than their current versions are. Okay.
Stalin, gentlemen, is a question for the Soviet Union, and I won't argue with a representative of the people who, in building America, wasted the lives of my people. You are responsible, you and your forebears, for 60 to 100 million black people dying in the slave ships and on the plantations. Don't you ask me about anybody.
I'm sure you wouldn't want to discuss with us the slave labor camps in the
Nothing
Soviet
could be built
Union.
more on slavery than this society, I assure you.
I would invite your attention to the Daily Worker of June 29, 1949, with reference to a get-together with you and Ben Davis, formerly communist councilman in New York. Do you know Ben Davis?
One of my dearest friends. He is as patriotic an American as can be. And you, gentlemen, are the non-patriots.
Just a minute.
You are the un-American.
The hearing is now adjourned.
I think it should be.
I've endured all of this that I can.
Can I read my statement?
No! The meeting is adjourned.
It should be.
The goat himself. Why it worked last time, why it was allowed to happen, was because capital in America was on the upswing. Now, how will they sell a House Un-American Activities when conditions have deteriorated so much? Well, there's also no real threat that Americans can feel, because the USSR and the United States of America were not interlinked by way of trade in the way that we are with China. The USSR was not responsible for 30% of all trade in the United States of America. You cannot turn Havana and Cuba into the USSR in the minds of Americans. The more they talk about Cuba and the threat of Cuba, the more they try to push for military action against Cuba, the more the average American will say, why are we wasting our resources this way? Maybe even more Americans will think, why are we starving the Cuban population this way? That's it. There is no imminent threat from our foreign adversaries that's out there. Even the ones who we are waging war against right now, direct war, Iran. Most Americans don't like Iran. But also, a far greater percentage of Americans don't want to wage war with Iran. Okay? They don't have the same smoke. That's it. And if this continues, more Americans will have a far higher degree of negative feelings towards Israel than they do any foreign adversary. You make a lot of money, Hasan. That's what people say, right? Sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people, by the way, Piker Broadcasting Service. They say, oh, you make a lot of money, Hasan. It's true. Okay? But do you understand how little attacks I would fucking receive if I was a establishment media figurehead, which I very easily could have gotten to by this point? I've been doing this shit to an increasingly growing audience with a lot more real world impact over the last decade. But there were a million opportunities for someone like myself to renounce my former views. Do you know how much money I would have? Van Jones is $1 million. Or, I mean, $100 million in his fucking bank account. If I could cut it in independent media, going my own way, staying true to my values, staying true to my moral compass, what makes you think I couldn't fucking make a shit ton more money and receive no fucking pushback whatsoever? I've always told everyone you're a true believer, which is why we're so lucky to have you as our figurehead. Yeah, it's why it's so silly when people say, oh, dude, you're fucking grifter, dude. Yeah, dude, definitely. Definitely. I love grifting to an audience. I love grifting to an audience that is unbelievably skeptical. I love grifting by assuming perhaps one of the more unpopular positions in American politics that is now becoming popular. Okay? Partially due to the shit that the effort that I've put in, but the effort that you've put in, the effort that DSA has put in, it's becoming more mainstream now. But if you think, this is why I always yell at people. This is why I always yell at people who will say stuff like, dude, these people who are now turning on Israel are grifters. It's like, sure, there are some who are, okay? But if I had that mentality, half of you would probably not be anti-Israel now. Many of you had no fucking clue about what Israel was up to before October 7. So remember, you got to be a little bit more gracious for people who are, going through their own journey too. Oh my God. CBS News Department just announced they're sending federal agents to monitor polling sites in 3 Arizona counties for the midterm elections. Great. There we go. I can't believe anyone debates Van Jones in earnest instead of just cracking jokes about how Bezos gave him $100 million for no particular reason. Why are you working? Go buy a beach. Completely forgotten now, but Jones tried to get a liberal response to the Tea Party going in 2011 and it went nowhere. In retrospect, it feels like a preview of Indivisible. Liberals wanted to meet up and strategize, but he didn't follow through on it. I'm 100% one of those people who had no idea what was going on in the Middle East before October 7th. It was only when I started listening to you that I finally started to understand. Yes, that's why you gotta, you gotta remember that, and you have to be gracious with people who are going through their own journey. Obviously, you don't want to get duped by fucking bad actors, but anyway, here's a W for Toyota and another W for Toyota. New York Times, Troy Jackson won't support Schumer for leader. Troy Jackson says he won't support Chuck Schumer as leader and also said he was not sure he wanted to support Senator Schumer in the general election. Okay? And by the way, the rat fuck is still happening. They're trying to bring back the water bottle incident from like what, a decade ago almost. As soon as it was established that Troy Jackson is...
Pull up a chair at the Ether Inn, your one-stop table for magic. Come visit our brew hall, a unique, one-of-a-kind deck builder experience. Then gather your pod for a real 4-player game. You and up to 3 friends right over Discord. With automatic resolution and honor system calls that set us apart from any other deck sim. Keep the game flowing with our free life counter. Your pod's life links straight to the counter on your phone. It's all built by one solo dev, and we lean on our community to keep the lights on. Buy your official Magic product from Amazon, Card Kingdom, or eBay. One click, and you're set. Browse our custom playmats. Don't see your favorite card art? Email us a request, and you might see it live within the day. A Patreon and a Kickstarter are on the way. Until then, join our email list and grow with the Ether Inn.
Did respond. The left didn't respond to every attack. There was no Save DEI rally, but it was out there doing stuff. Yeah, he's mad we're using do-nothing Democrats, and he told them to. Fucking priceless. Yeah. It's awesome. James Carville gave us a gift. He told the Democrats to not do anything. Now, probably Democrats weren't going to do anything anyway, but I'll give that credit to James Carville.
Electability.
So here's a question I have for you. So back in 2018, you worked together with Pramila Jayapal on a bill to abolish ICE, which is a key demand.
I worked with her on here's what the bill did, okay? It's a slogan.
We have an article here from the Seattle Times, your local paper. U.S. Reps Pramila Jayapal and Adam Smith aim to abolish ICE, restructure immigration enforcement.
Exactly.
You were one of the Democrats actually who was in office when you voted for DHS.
Can I tell you what this actually does
creation of
so
ICE?
we can have an intelligent
conversation?
conversation?
Of course, yeah. Well, number one, do you still support this?
Yeah. Let me tell you what it does.
Okay,
because
but do you still support
that doesn't help anything, because what is this? Can I?
Yeah, of course, but first, do you...
Yeah, here's the thing about the two-party system. A strategist on the Republican side that was so bad they wouldn't be fired. In the Democratic Party, they get promoted. Failure is rewarded. Yes. Democrats always reward failures because their role isn't to actually win shit. Their role is to just lose gracefully and collect checks. Republicans actually have a horrifying, unbelievably toxic agenda, but they fight like hell to fucking implement it.
You can explain more in detail what it is.
I keep slamming the table. Jesus Christ, Adam Smith. Sure, Wealth of Nations is a good book, but Jesus Christ, dude, have some decency, sir. Oh, look at me, fucking invisible hand. Like, all right, dude, calm down, okay? We get it. You were impactful hundreds of years ago. Okay, calm down.
Tell you what it is.
Okay. Yes.
When we created the Department of Homeland Security, we took immigration enforcement away from the Justice Department and we put it into DHS and created ICE.
Correct.
What this does is it puts immigration enforcement back at the Justice Department.
And gets rid of ICE.
Right. Well, it gets rid of... Yeah, no, but...
That's my position, too.
But here's...
We're on the same page here.
Yes, but it doesn't get rid of immigration enforcement.
Okay, so hold on. Let me hold you to account again.
Yeah.
Tell me which candidates, specifically, not a policy paper that there theoretically says, which candidates have said we should get rid of all immigration enforcement.
I forget the name. The woman who beat Andrew Espelot absolutely 100%
Dari-Lisa
said it.
Chevalier.
Yeah.
So you have one candidate
Right.
who said that. Do you think that?
I also
do you think that her views should be associated with everyone on the under the DSA label, or do you think that each person should be evaluated individually?
Many conversations with many immigration advocates, and I always ask them. And look, I'm in favor of a robust immigration system. I think what immigration enforcement is doing right now is an absolute crime. Okay, and it should be limited. And I think we should go back to the Justice Department. That's what I said.
And you still support the bill that you put forward.
Absolutely.
So you support abolishing ICE.
But abolishing ICE is just a rhetorical.
You don't like the label, but you support it, right?
But the problem is it means different things to different people. Okay, if you're talking about, no, let's go back to a Justice Department enforcement mechanism, that's fine. But there are a lot more people who support eliminating enforcement. And let me tell you the question I always, let me tell you,
You've given me one.
Let me tell you the question I always ask and the answer I always get from dozens of different immigration advocacy groups. I said, look, in order for this to work, you have.
I'm sorry, if you're a fucking Democrat, if you have the D next to your name and you're repeating Fox News talking points, you're not a Democrat, okay? You're not a part of the opposition. You're a part of the fucking fascist party. I'm sorry. It don't matter that you got a D next to your name. This is unbelievably self-defeating, okay? When we criticize the moderates, we criticize them for their closeness to the Republicans, okay? Because we want the moderates to no longer be close to the Republicans in their ideology, in their advocacy, in their legislative agenda that they follow on, okay? When moderates do this to their left flank, they are repeating how close they are to the right-wingers, okay? He's not even a fucking Pino. He's not. He's not even a progressive. He's a Dino, Democrat in name only. This is what I mean when I say no more to the fascist collaborators, okay? That's it. That's it. It was not favorable to the Palestinian occupants, the Arab occupants, in any way, shape, or form. Okay, it was the start of a settler colonial operation. Mass migrations of Jews begin, and the British occupation absolutely favors the Jewish settlers as opposed to the Palestinian population. The Palestinian population are experiencing similar kinds of settler attacks that you see in the West Bank today. Okay. And the British occupation, similar to the Israeli occupation, defends the actions, the pogroms, the actions that the Arab indigenous population are receiving in the hands of Jewish settlers. Okay, there's a lot of land grabs, there's pogroms that take place. The Arabs, who make up the overwhelming majority of the working class at the time, try to implement strikes in the process. They try all of the different peaceful ways of resistance. In the process, they also develop some kind of militant resistance as well. Okay? Palestinians, not Arabs. Yes. Palestinians, the occupants, the actual occupants of first the area known as Palestine under Ottoman occupation, if you want to call it that, and then British occupation, British Mandate Palestine. There's a lot of back and forth. The Palestinians inevitably end up losing because the British heavily favor the Jewish settler colonial project. By the time that the British leave, okay, by the time that the British leave, the Jewish settlers have all the money. The Jewish settlers have all the weapons. The Jewish settlers have more and more land. Some they've purchased, some they've actually pushed the Palestinians out of. And then, by 1947, the Jewish settlers designed different Zionist brigades. Okay? In the aftermath of World War II, there is, of course, unprecedented levels of migration. There are a lot of refugees that are coming from all around Europe. Okay? They develop Haganah, Irgun, and Lihi as like the three primary Zionist brigades. You could consider them de facto terrorist organizations because at the time there is no established nation state, so they are technically de facto terrorist organizations. They are able to get a lot of arms from other countries. The USSR is one of the countries that actually traffic arms by way of Czechoslovakia. There's an embargo, and yet many people still send arms to the the Zionist brigades at that point. And they establish, which Ilhan Pape uncovered, Plan Dalit. The purpose of Plan Dalit is to create, to generate massacres in key Palestinian villages that have like neighborhood agreements with Jewish villages, Palestinian villages that are next to Jewish villages that already have established good relations with said Jewish villages. They go to Deir Yassin and numerous other Palestinian villages, and they slaughter the people there. Then they also hold hostage some of the Palestinians and parade them through the streets in Jewish neighborhoods. The purpose of this is to get the other Palestinian villages to take note of these massacres that are taking place. Okay? So that when they encircle other Palestinian villages in the process from 1947 to 1948, also known as Nakba, the Nakba, which leads to the inception of the Jewish state of Israel. When they encircle these other Palestinian villages, including major cities where Palestinians used to live that are now considered cities within the Israeli designer and machinist to HasanAbi. Anyway, as I was going to say, so I am going to try to be live tomorrow, but vacation starts. This is what he gave me. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. I'm going to try to be live tomorrow. But we shall see. But vacation starts officially tomorrow. Okay? Unless there's a major war or something like that, I might not be live. But yeah. Bro, don't do it. Get on a hammock. Okay, calm down. Calm down. I'm a businessman, okay? I care about the markets. I care about business. I care about commerce, okay? And as someone who cares about commerce, I got to make sure that I'm monitoring the situation at all times. Anyway, but yeah. From now until Sunday, I will be live periodically. If there's a major news story, if not, I'll be back on Sunday. Love you guys and see you.
Starting off the day. All the chatter's trickling in. Hustle people hate.
Stunning lo-fi introduction, starting off the day. All the chat